We can't go that way, right?
No.
Wait, what the fuck? Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go. Come, come, come.
Hurry, 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 hurry.
Oh, friendly fire.
I'm going to quickly talk about my setup that I've been building for the last couple of years. The base gun is a Krytac Alpha CRB Mark I, which has been very reliable so far. My goal from the beginning was to build a competitive AEG at Project N1, which is an indoor, extremely close quarter field that is frequented by HPA players. In its stock configuration, using a non-LiPo battery, the trigger response and RPS was just not enough to keep up with the 30 plus RPS fire rate of HPA or even DSG or fast SSG players. But first I wanted to make some aesthetic changes. So the gun has gone through a lot of changes, starting out with the stock rail, hollow sun, red dot, and a magpul AFG. I also chopped the finger nub on the original A2 motor grip, just because the finger groove served no purpose except rub my finger raw. In that configuration, painted it in kind of a Rhodesian brushstroke type color scheme, using vegetation to try and get it to blend into the Californian chaparral environment as much as possible. After one Christmas, I got some funds, changed out the rail, muzzle device, foregrip, and stock. I acquired this nasty looking stock that was also extremely expensive in order to fit a PEC box LiPo battery inside. Because it was so ugly, I ended up just ditching it and reinstalled the original Krytac stock. Finally, settling on its final form, I drew it on Illustrator, try out different paint schemes with the new components to see what would fit best. And after some research, I used Rust-Oleum's Satin Nutmeg and Black, which seemed to be the best looking two-tone FDE scheme to me. Starting with the front end, the gun still has the original 10.5-inch inner barrel, but is covered by a new 7-inch outer barrel and an EMG Guardian or Surefire RC2 Mini 5.56 suppressor sleeved under the handguard, which is a copy of the Knight's URX keymod handguard. I got that rail when keymod was still pretty commonplace a couple years ago, and I honestly like how it looks more than Hemlock, so it's fine to me. At 10 o'clock on the rail is a T-Rex light bar with a Surefire M300 Scout Mini that lets me sufficiently blind people at close range and is at the perfect location to actuate while giving 0 suppressor shadow thanks to the light bar. Underneath is a Railscale's Carve P that gives a nice look and is ergonomically a good hand stop. And of course, I have a spare couple inches worth of electrical tape, which is mainly there to keep the sling retention bungee from getting chewed up by the rail. Moving back a little bit, the sling is from T-Rex. which is what I think is a pretty good thinly padded sling that can still be stowed pretty compactly on the side when in non-use and deployed very quickly. On tops, it's a fake EOTech from China, mainly just to give the aesthetic look of an EOTech. I've gotten these interesting kill flash lens protectors that are rubber banded together, which looks sleeker than normal acrylic lens protectors, but I've had 2 of the rubber bands snap on me just from trying to put it on with very little force, so hesitant to recommend that. Finally, for the performance stuff that matters, I recently upgraded the motor to an ASG 30K from the original Krytac 20K. That sits in a PTS MOE style motor grip. It's powered all. I'm using a Matrix 1100 milliamp, 11.1 volt 20C LiPo through a Dean's to me adapter, just because I have not gone to rewiring my gearbox to Dean's. But the trigger response is very nice. This is probably one of the best mods that I've done. All it took was a Dremel to cut a little slot in the side of the stock where the battery is fixed with a Velcro strap that runs through the sling slot on the stock. Very easy way to run a battery that doesn't fit inside the buffer tube. Overall, this build is, I'd say, 90% done. The last upgrades are a momentary only cap for the M300, because I accidentally click it on, constant on, while playing, and a B5 stock without the battery compartments on the side that I'm going to chop down even shorter to emulate the LMT PDW stock, and also chop the buffer tube to make the overall package even shorter, and really give it that like bag gun or like PDW look in terms of appearance. So stay tuned, I guess.